Hello everyone, welcome back. So you may have seen recently that there was a campaign called Go Sober for October, where people didn't drink throughout the month of October and they raised money for charity by doing this. What a great idea. So inspired by this, myself, Lex Ellis and Carlos the Brooklyn Fragrance Lover have had our own campaign going on, and this has actually been going on for 3 months, but it's not too late to sponsor us now. This one is called Hungover for October, On a Bender in November, and We Won't Remember December. Hello everyone, so I decided to make a video today on my favourite niche fragrance house. Now I really like the house of Creed, but that didn't win. I've got quite a few Creeds. I love that house's fragrances, they're really good. And I was thinking about which one is really my favourite, and there's really only one other house where I've got a lot. I don't have a huge niche collection, but the one that I seem to have a personal affinity with is Acqua di Parma from Italy. They've been going since 1916. They specialise in fresh citrusy colognes, but they have other things in the list that you're going to see too. The ones that I've left out that I don't own, of course, there's many others worth trying. Colonia Pura that came out recently is a good release, and a sort of a modernised, purified version of a citrus cologne. Very good fragrance, great all-rounder. And also the green one, Colonia Club, quite pleasant. Colonia Intensa, I like that one. But these are the ones I own. There's some absolute classics in here. Let me know what you thought of my choices here and what your favourite niche fragrance house is. Here comes the list of Acqua di Parma favourites from me. One of the main reasons I really like this house is that the fragrances are relatively inexpensive for niche fragrances. They're just a little bit above designer prices, and if you look online at discounters you can get even better deals. I'm going to show you the retail prices here in the UK on screen as the fragrances come up. Okay then, kicking things off with 1916's original Acqua di Parma Colonia. This became a kind of a cult fragrance, a classic fragrance of film stars in the 50s and 60s. People like Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant and David Niven apparently wore this one at a time when you could only buy it if you'd been over to Italy to get it. So it opens up with a really nice citrus combination, lemon, orange and bergamot. We can see some of the notes were there on the back of the bottle as a tester. There's also some lavender, rose and rosemary in this one, so some herbaceousness, and in the base there's oak moss, vetiver, sandalwood and patchouli, so it does have this underlying kind of depth to the fragrance as well. A really classic citrus aromatic type fragrance with some old school kind of florals, and it could almost be described as a little bit grandad or grandma-esque, but it's, if you're putting that a more positive spin on that, it's like a 50s film star kind of smell. Really a classic fragrance that has gained a cult following for good reason. Kind of a barbershop fragrance there as well. If you like things like Rive Gauche from Yves Saint Laurent, you might like that one. Performance on the original Colonia is sort of average. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. Next up then, it's Colonia Assoluta. This was released much later in 2003. The perfumiers on this one, Jean-Claude Elena and Bertrand Duchefort, two really big perfumiers. Again, it's very citrusy. You've got bergamot, orange and lemon verbena, but they've spiced things up a little bit with some other slightly more modern kind of notes. So there's ylang ylang, jasmine, pink pepper and pimento pepper, the kind of almost a chili pepper type note in there. It's really very similar in the way I would describe it to the original Colonia, but maybe, I think, yeah, they've brought it up to the 21st century, well, almost a little bit, at least into the late 20th century. There is a sort of 60s, 70s cologne vibe about this one as well. It's really a classic, fresh scent with some florals and similar to the original, but not quite as rugged and barbershoppy, and a little bit more citrusy and floral, I would say, that one. Performance on Assoluta, again, quite average. It's not terrible, you will be smelled, and it does last as a skin scent quite well, but it's not a strong performing fragrance. Next up we've got Colonia Essenza. So Essenza 2010, a more recent release again. Neroli, mandarin and grapefruit open this one up. There's some rosemary, there's also rose, lily of the valley, patchouli, vetiver and amber. colour. It's often compared actually as to Neroli Portofino, to which it is a great alternative if you want something richer and deeper, a bit more masculine rather than the very unisex Neroli Portofino from Tom Ford. It's a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me. Classic citrus aromatic fragrance, but it's got this depth with it. It's got amber in there as well, the vetiver, the patchouli. It gives it this depth, this lasting power, kind of soapy, fresh, clean, classy gentleman smell. I would really recommend that one as the number one to check out from the house of Acqua di Parma. Performance on Essenza I find to be really good, really strong, lasts longer than the other two, and smells stronger for longer. Great performer. Next up, we're going into the Blue Mediterraneo line, and these are Eau de Toilettes officially. The others are officially Colonias, so the Eau de Cologne is supposed to be weaker. I find all of them to be sort of Eau de Toilette kind of strength, to be honest. This one, Fico di Amalfi. Fico di Amalfi means figs of the Amalfi region in Italy, so it's got a fig note in there. There's a lot of citrus as well. Grapefruit is listed as a note, and the fig tends to smell a bit similar to peach. So you could find that you smell a little bit of peach in this one. It's a very unisex fragrance, very unique. It's got a really good cedarwood note that we seem to get a lot in the Acqua di Parma Blue Mediterraneo line. And I really find this an excellent choice for summertime. A real niche, light smelling, but actually quite good performing fragrance. And that uniqueness of the fig note mixed in with the really sparkling citrus. Just that kind of by the beach, by the Italian coast kind of smell. Now, by way of complete contrast, they also have Mandorlo di Sicilia. This one came out in 1999. This is a gourmand. The main note there is almonds. Mandorlo means almonds, almonds of Sicily. There's frangipani flower, star anise, apparently coffee grains, and white peach are in there as well, and vanilla and sandalwood. It sort of smells like a very delicious almondy cake. A really rich, sweet, seductive smell. There's a certain sort of delicacy and lightness that Acqua di Parma always bring to the table, but it's definitely not one of their freshies. So for a winter scent from this house, Mandorlo di Sicilia, a really delicious, gourmand, delicate Italian dessert kind of smell about this one, and they've done that really skillfully. So the Blue Mediterraneo line, kind of a fun line from Acqua di Parma. Mandorlo di Sicilia is kind of okay in performance. It lasts well. It's never really a huge projector, just about average for me. Now, next up, the other one I own in this line is Ginepro di Sardegna, and that means juniper berries of the Sardinia region. So it has juniper in the notes. There's also pepper, bergamots in there, so there's some citrusness, and we have nutmeg, cypress and cedar. It's a kind of balmy, woody, spicy fragrance with a certain freshness about it. It's actually, again, really unlike anything that I've ever smelled. There is a certain freshness about this one, but it's not really a classic citrus cologne, and it's got a lot of spicy woodiness, but it never gets heavy. So it's a really beautiful, some people say a gin and tonic on your skin. There is this kind of gin and tonic-esque note with the juniper, but it's got a little bit more depth and spicy woodiness about it. So absolute beauty, and I bought that from Chad from A Gentleman's Journey channel in person when he came over to visit London, so it has a little bit of a special significance for me, and it was really great to meet Chad. Next up, now we have the other line from these guys, is the ingredients line, where they focus. These are a little bit more expensive than the others, and so this one is Colonia Leather. Colonia Leather is cologne concentrate, so a bit stronger they reckon than the others, and the price is a bit high. You can see that it comes in a very nice bottle, and the packaging on this one a little bit grandiose, more grandiose than the other ones. Notes in this one: Brazilian orange, lime, rose, leather, of course, petitgrain, cedar and guaiac wood. Has some similarities in the kind of leather note that's in it to Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, and it's representative, of course, of the very famous Italian leather industry, where they're really good at making stuff out of leather, shoes, jackets, whatever. And it's got this really classy element about it, but it's got this depth and richness and a different tone, not this totally fresh tone that some of the other ones have. So Colonia Leather is a brilliant take, maybe a mixture between one of the other Acqua di Parma Colonias and Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. That's a bit of an oversimplification. A lovely rose note, a delicate fragrance actually as it dries down, but with this undertone of rich, heavy masculinity, smelling a bit like the inside of a new car, but it's more your modern niche kind of leather than the old school 1970s Givenchy gentleman style leather. Little quick mention there for the other one that I wanted to mention, Colonia Oud, from the same ingredients series, the more expensive one. Just got a sample there, and this one of course consists of a lot of oud, but there's this freshness and citrus element about this one. So it's a sort of mixture of a citrus fragrance with oud. Bit odd out there, really, isn't it? Because you don't expect oud from the Italian house known for citrus fragrances. There's bergamot, there's coriander, citrus, sandalwood, patchouli, and of course the agar wood oud note. Really pungent stuff, this one. I do get a lot of oud. Some people say it's not that much oud in it, but I get this kind of exotic element with the sandalwood, with the patchouli, with a certain richness and leather in there, but a bit of citrus freshness. Definitely an oud to try if you've only thought that oud had to be associated with Arabian houses. This is a beast mode performer from what I've tested so far and from what everyone says, and well worth checking out if you're interested in oud fragrances but you want a wearable version. So those were some of my favourites from the wonderful house of Acqua di Parma. Italian sophistication and chic with a huge variety in the range. You could easily only have Acqua di Parma scents and smell great all the time. And let me know what you thought of my opinions there. The bottles are beautiful. I love the Art Deco design, the similarity between all of them having the same kind of shape but the different colours. Lovely writing and the labels. Absolutely great range of fragrances. Affordable niche fragrances, reasonably priced niche fragrances, and that's what we want. I think this is probably, at the moment, my favourite fragrance house. Let me know what your favourite fragrance house is. I'd be interested to know, and what you thought of my summary of the Acqua di Parma scents. Okay, thanks very much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that list of great fragrances from the house of Acqua di Parma. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Ginepri di Sardegna.